Yes for Christ. Yes for Christ. Yes for Christ. We're on a mission. We've got the vision to do God's work. The Great Commission is why we're driven. It's why we serve. We are the ones to carry the gospel to the whole world, yeah. To every region, tribe, tongue, and nation, they need to hear God's word.
Okay, so today we have a double bubble for you because we have another special guest youth session.
Yeah.
A young businessman, probably known by a lot of people in Antigua. Yes, Zaya.
Yeah.
Welcome, Zaya.
Welcome.
Good day, everyone. Good day. Welcome you. Warm welcome.
Happy to have you.
Yes, so we asked Zaya to come in because he is a young businessman and he has been, we're just speaking about diligence. This is somebody who has been displaying diligence for years. I mean, just looking at the Backyard Records, the movement group that he and his friends started way back in school and still doing things there. These guys are very persistent, they're very diligent, and today I just want to find out from Zaya in terms of his business ventures. Let us know what motivated him to do business, what are some of the challenges that he's seen, what are some of the benefits and the breakthroughs that he's seen.
Okay, so you're gonna ask them separately.
Well, you start wherever you want to, wherever you feel more comfortable.
Alright, no problem, that's cool. So well, as he said, I would have started a what can I say, community of young passionate believers. Well, that was back in 2012 when we would have just about graduated from school and we could no longer go under the name that we used to go in college. So my passion or my dream, my goal was to always fill some sort of void that I see. That was always my driving force to do what I do. So rewinding back to 2008 when I would have just been exposed to the church scene, and you go to church your whole life, but now your experience is now getting real. And one of the things that I would have noticed is that, like at the time, you had artists like Pure Life and Young Phenom, and you were young at the time, now just busting on the scene. And I found that they had to go to mainstream studios to record songs, and it would cost like 200 US an hour. It was like a very expensive procedure. And I just told myself, you know what, I want to be the first young Christian believer to build a studio and make Christians record for free. And at the time it was very I wasn't thinking about money or resources or how I'm going to pay my bills, and I was just passionate and was very determined to get this done. And prior to music, I was the techie guy, so I used to like fix phones when your phone drop in water, to scrub up the circuit board and hang it up on the line. I used to fix bikes. Biking was my life, so I used to strip down bikes, set it back up. I used to like spray over bikes and everything to do with bike. I knew all the parts like the back of my hand. Like I used to strip down my bike and just set it back up just for fun and just to feel it running smooth. So I was like an extreme bike. I used to just ride, go to the place, ride to Wheelie Keys, just go riding with my friends.
Motorbikes too, or just regular bikes?
Just regular bikes. So
you're riding to where you live to Wheelie Keys?
Clear Hall to Wheelie Keys.
Yes, that's a long
I
ride.
did that on more than one occasion. So it was just you're young and you just find something to channel your energy to. So biking was that for me. And eventually you start secondary school and you grow up, and then it's not really cool to ride bike. Everyone is driving cars, they get their vehicles and you can't be seen riding bikes and all your peers are getting their license and all that kind of stuff. So everything just sort of happened in a sequential order. So eventually my biking or my love for biking sort of faded, and then I started just around the time when I started going to another church, and I got involved with this dance group at the time. Chain Breakers was like one of the biggest dance group, and I was the DJ. So my energy for biking sort of just transferred into music. So that's where I got to meet Young Phenom and a lot of these guys. So yeah, I just said, yo, I want to open a studio and make Christians record for free. And then I believed it. Like, although some people just thought, yo, that's just crazy. But I believed that I would find a way to do it. And the kind of person I am, if I say that I'm going to do something, like, I would do everything in my power to make my word not come back void, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I took out all my bikes. I had like a little garage in my house. Well, in my yard, where I had a lot of bike frames and bike wheels and just a bunch of unnecessary guy stuff. So I started just throw those underneath the house and I just clean up that area and I just started to just build. Like, first I was in my bedroom and I bought a Chinese microphone from Lewis and Lewis Brothers on Old Palm Road. And that was my studio. You know, I had my little Chinese microphone and my laptop. I used to go around and I'm like, yo, Young Phenom, can you give me a dub plate? Because back in those time it was big to get a dub plate. I imagine Young Phenom recording a dub plate for me on a Chinese microphone that cost me $35. And I thought
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
I guess my first question to you, because you're talking about, creating a business. You're just a young local guy,
Nobody.
Like, did you ever wonder, or I'm sure you've had to wonder, where are you going to get the money from? Because this is the thing. A lot of people want to open this business. They have a lot of ideas, but they're like, I don't have any money. Where am I going to get the money from? So how did you really channel through that? Is that something that you were worried about? You had doubts and, how did you do it? How did you come up with it? Like buying your equipment and that kind of stuff.
So it's like a collation of responses to that. So firstly, I had a very good community. I had a very good church community. So when I would have pitched the idea of the studio to my peers and they saw that I was serious and they saw that my Chinese microphone would be evolving to real things, they believed in me. I went to my pastor at the time and said, yo, this is my vision. I want to extend this garage that I have in my yard. I want to turn it into a studio and whatnot. And at the time, the church was sort of renovating. And thank God they had a lot of boards and materials and old sheetrock and stuff. So I just gathered a bunch of my friends together and I said, yo guys, we need to carry some boards and some stuff over to the studio. And there we were, like maybe 5 or 6 of us, carrying like 4x4s and 2x4s over our shoulder, and we walking from my Clay Hall School side all the way back to my house. Wow. I was looking like a bunch of crazy people. What are these people doing? I like, yo, we stack up the boards and eventually we got to a church bus to bring over materials. And I spoke to one of my friends at the time, Barry. And I told Barry, oh, this is what I want to do. This is my vision. I'm just a poor college graduate, Well, I was in secondary school at the time, I think. No, I was in college at the time. So I was just a poor college student at the time.
Yeah.
I ain't got no money. And I have this big dream, this big vision to renovate this place and turn it great. And he believed in me. And that's one thing that I really, really appreciate. All those people who would have believed in me and invested the time in me and would have invested their resources to make my dream a reality. So that was one of the big aspects. And secondly, when all my peers were buying shoes, name brand shoes and clothes and jewelry and floss, and I was wearing the same clothes over and over and over because I was saving my money towards my dream.
That's the key.
So I look shabby for a couple of years, but eventually when you invest in business, you get turnover.
So now you can buy the latest clothes and shoes.
I can buy Jordans and anything I want. But back then, every cent, every penny, and I bought my equipment like 1-1. So I save up for like maybe a month or 2 months, and studio equipment is ridiculously expensive. It only comes in the hundreds of US. So 800 US, 500 US, 300 US. Like, yo, what's up with that? Now you have to convert that to EC and multiply that by 2.735 or 2.835 if you're using eBay. Like, oh shucks, $1,300, $1,400, $900 and something dollars, and you just piece, save. So that was my other alternative. And then in addition to that, I had people who believed so much in me that they were willing to invest monetarily. So I had like my father, my brother, and like my inspiration in life, Jermaine Semple, who would tell me, "Not what you need, how much money will cost? Okay, here take $1,000, here take $1,200." I had people like that. So I would say those would be the three main aspects that would have driven me out, helped me to reach this point.
So you would say that having a support group is very, very important.
That is life, actually.
That story was beautiful. That was like a journey. But the one thing that stood out to me is like what you said is the word passion. I think because you had that passion for what you're doing, that's why you're where you're at today. I think if you didn't have that drive and the dedication and passion, which that's what it takes to become successful in life,
Most
having a
definitely.
business. I don't think you can reach that level without the passion, dedication, and hard work. And with not buying the name brand clothes, the jewelry, we were talking about earlier about investment. That's key.
Yep.
You have to invest in the
Major key.
right things, as in set the goals, invest in the right things. I think that's very important in the community.
Very, very, very important.
What I like calling, I have a name for it when you're working towards something. Your purse is on a diet. Don't spend money unless you have to. You're working towards something. You have to tighten those purse strings and like, you know what? The end of this month, this is what I want to do. And I think you dedicated yourself to doing that. Like, you know, hey, what, I can't afford Jordans. If it's 2 Chinese slippers to go out, wearing those Chinese slippers, going out.
You gotta make it work, most definitely. And as she would have said earlier, yes, alluded to passion and how passion is one of the driving factors to accomplishing goals. So when you're young, you see a lot of people, they want to do things, but sometimes at some point in the journey they just sort of just fade. You know, they wanted to open a business, or you wanted to buy an exercising machine or whatever, and at some point in the way you just sort of just fade up. So now when you have passion, now when you have consistent, fervent passion, now it through those down times, you know, it just keeps you driven and keeps you going. So that's very important.
How did you deal with the naysayers? Because you spoke about those who were in support and helped you, but in everything they're gonna have some people who will tell you that, oh, you can't do it, you're not gonna make it, you're wasting your money and your time. So how did you relate to those persons, or what did you have to say to them? What did you think? And how did you press past that? Because a lot of people get discouraged very easy.
That's very true. And actually, I'm one of those persons who, like, I wouldn't say I get discouraged easily, but I say I'm easily hurt when someone would critique something that I believe in. So if I don't care about it, then whatever. But if I would have been invested emotionally and physically and all the leads in this, and someone come, that's trash, that garbage, it would hurt me. And I actually had people like that around me. And I always tell this story when I'm talking about my journey. Like, when I would have just started off, and at that point in time, I still had my Chinese microphone and my laptop. And, you know, you, as a business person, or, well, as an aspiring business person, you never stay at one place. You always try to keep branching out. True. So I branched off from, you know, just recording. I decided that I was gonna make beats. It was just this weird passion or whatever. I remember making my first beat, and I brought it on the block to some of the guys to hear. And like, I'm expecting them to say, "Oh, good job," and some of the, like, one guy in particular, he was laughing me to score, like right in my face. It's one thing when you see these things on TV or you hear about them, but when it's like, yo, you're supposed to be my friend, you're supposed to be supporting me, and he laughed me in my face. And tell me, no, he never recorded the studio, and blah 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 blah. And it was just so funny that maybe a year after, the same person was laughing right in my bedroom, recording the song. So it was just sort of funny. But I would say my biggest thing that held me or keep me going through those times was that one person that believed in me, you know. And that, for me, that was my boy Dennis. You know, I was on the block and I want to cry because I'm soft at times. And Dennis was just like, yo, don't worry about that, Zay. Don't worry about that. No, I'll soon I'll go come record. And even though Dennis in himself probably I think Like it wasn't too poor of quality. You know, he believed in me enough to stand up for me when everyone was laughing or whatever the case may be. So that was the big thing for me. And just going through that one situation to seeing okay, these people who laugh now turn over and okay, actually see this is something serious. Like I didn't have to go through that again because I'm a person, I don't have to go through it twice. So the next time or the next point in my life, wherever, when I would have seen that occurrence recurring again, I was just like, you know what, just give it time. Everything takes time. And it happened more than one time that people will say, why are you investing all this money in all this equipment? They didn't stay at audio or music. I branched off into photography, I branched off into video, I branched off into marketing, I branched off into lighting. Like I do like a collage of things, like anything that I needed to do to get something done, I tried to sort of branch out into it. And yeah, along the way I had people that just thought I was just wasting money. Like, why are you buying a backdrop and lights? Like, why would you do that? Like, why are you spending over $1,000 on this? And you know, I turn around to see that some of the same thing that I bought would have helped these people, some kind of shoot they wanted and anything of the sort. And even in particularly, I remember one point in time where I got a job and I would have needed to use those same resources that I would have invested in, and it was like over half the job alone, that single job paid like 70% of the cost that I would have paid for those. So I live to see the turnover. So that was also encouragement to me.
Yes, I was just about to ask you about the turnover and profit and stuff. So how long you say you have been doing this? Like
I started in 2008
2008, yeah.
and up till present.
Okay.
How soon after did you see profit? Because this is another thing too with people going into business.
Yes.
They open the business today. First month after, they want to see profit. If they don't see any profit, they give up, close business. That's it. Right? But you know, patience is key, as our first speaker was talking about. So realistically, how soon after did you actually started seeing yourself making that money from your business?
Oh, that took a while. That took a while. So I started in 2008, and you know, it's not just starting or having a product, it's having a clientele, people to actually buy, people who is willing to pay money for your service, to believe in your service that much. So that took me years. 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Wow.
Like 9 years it took. Really, to like 9 years before I could start seeing like profits and consistent clientele and being able to make this particular sector of my business invest in expanding that particular sector as opposed to having use my salary or use some other aspect. So it took a while, but
when the business starts paying for itself.
One day I can say God is really blessed with patience. 9 years it takes the patient man, and it shows that you're really passionate about what you're doing.
What it is that when you in love with something, like when you love it so much that you would do it for free, then it just seems like a breeze. And that was me. Like
9 years seem like a day.
I love music so much. I could care less. And well, one thing that affected me was a major affecting factor is being in a Christian environment. And it sounds good, the Christian brothers and sisters, but they don't like to pay. So like you would be doing something free, and they just never come to the realization that maybe Zaya has bills to pay.
Exactly.
Or maybe if I give him $50, that might make him buy something. So I went through years of that, doing things with church people, and people call me, I don't even know them, and they want to do something. And I'm just such a nice person. I just never mention money, and I just never tell them. I just say, okay, cool, no problem. And it took me a while, and I had to, like, last year, I had to make a conscious decision. I had to tell myself, you know, as much as I love working with my church brothers and sisters, hallelujah, praise Jesus, I needed to tell a bunch of them no. And like it was just so weird. Like people that I've been working with for 5, 6, 7 years, they come to me like, yo, I need to get this done. I'm just like, I really can't help you at this point in time because I'm just taking time off to focus on self-development, to invest in my personal business, and to the because when everyone comes to you, they think that you have time, but 20 other people come to you thinking the same.
Yeah,
True.
So
Right.
Kieran come to me today, and Stacy might come to me tomorrow. You might come to me Wednesday, and before you know it, the whole week you're doing free work and you're just not making any
And you
time.
have bills to
So I have
pay.
to make that conscious
Right.
decision and make a decision to target a particular market. So for me, that was corporate. So I decided, not business people have money, and if I could market myself to the business community, then I can make turnover without having to run behind people for money and all that stuff. So
And I believe also that, I mean, if you have something going on, if you're starting a business and you have friends, I think they should be the first persons to, you know what, this guy is saying that he wants to do this for free or whatever. I mean, I will have the conscience to say, you know what, he's working so hard, I have to give something. Yeah, right. It's not just taking, but you have to put in something, especially when you see somebody working hard towards that, all right?
That's
Don't take
very true.
advantage of the niceness.
Yeah, 'cause I tell people this all the time. The first time I went by Zay, I didn't know who he was, but he wasn't giving me any price when I went by him. But I knew I was an aspiring businessman since college as well, so I know that people, if somebody does work, they deserve to be paid, and that's a
Exactly.
biblical principle, by the way.
Right.
So when he wasn't giving me a price, I just left something with him because I don't believe somebody should be just doing work and not getting anything from it.
That's
yeah, I
good.
remember doing
Yeah. I mean, it takes really good people to think that way, because everybody would run with things that they can get for free.
Yeah.
But Zia, so what advice would you have to give all our listeners today? Because in a few years I want to be just like you. I want to be an entrepreneur. You decide when you get to your studio, what you want to do today, when you leave, and I don't know. I'm just saying, but
must be
I mean, right? Like, what advice would you give to young people, even older folks? Because it's never too late. Those who are thinking that they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to start a business, whether you have money or not. What would you tell them?
Great question.
Firstly, I would tell them take risk, because a lot of the answers to the troubling questions in life as it relates to business or personal development or anything is on the other side of some form of risk. So you might want to start, let's say, a car wash, and your big insecurity might be, would people actually come? But how do you figure that out if you just keep praying or waiting or wondering? When you actually take that risk, you realize, okay, you might want 20 people, but you might get 10, and 10 might break you even.
Right.
So you might get the results that you want, but you would figure out the answers to those questions that you would have. So my first thing is take risk. Take risk. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to see failure as one way that it didn't work out, and try another way. Just
Right.
like I always been hearing of the story of WD-40, who tried 39 times, and on the 40th try, he would have figured out the formula to that rust, anti-rust, whatever he made. So the moral of the story is keep trying, be persistent, don't be afraid to take a risk, you know what I mean? So and risk doesn't necessarily have to be taking a loan from the bank or Axel Finance or any financial institution. It could just be you setting up a stand on the side of the road and getting some lemonade and just going out in faith, hoping that people will come and buy it. That is a risk. And as simple as that sound, like, there's a lot of people who might want to do that but just never do it because of fear or whatever the reason is. So as I always love to say, like, one of the richest places in the world is probably the graveyards, because a lot of people, they die with big dreams and big visions and great ideas that are multi-million dollar, that could be ventures, that could be, I don't know, as big, great as Bill Gates or whatever the case may be. But they was afraid of something, they was afraid to take a risk, and it never came to fruition. It never actually happened. So my first thing would be, don't be afraid to take risks.
Listen.
That would be the first thing I would say. And I would also say, you know what, if you have a dream, a goal, or some sort of vision, I mean, find someone that believes in you, or someone that you could go to if times get hard. Like I always had that one person that I could talk to that could be real and could be real to me, and who was willing to invest. You know what I mean? So you could find at least one person that you could talk to when times get hard, so that you don't give up. That they could tell you, you know what, you're doing stupidness. You come too far now to see that you're gonna end this endeavor
Right.
that you've been working for all these years. So that's also very important.
You need to always have a friend like that in your corner to always
Always.
encourage you. You're going to think some people are your friend and they discourage you, but you will always have a friend who will tell you, I know you know better than that. Or some of them have a reverse psychology. Whenever one of my friends, she always does it when I start feeling down and when I start being negative. And instead of her telling me positive, she starts to say the same thing that I'm saying. And then she looks at me. She's like, so we're going to change our mind and go back to doing what we were doing? Or we're going to sit and feel sorry for ourselves? And I always tell her, thank you for always encouraging me when I felt discouraged. And I do likewise for them.
Right. And even if you don't have that one person, there's always God. You know, God
big
always
man
has
himself.
he always has our backs. And, you know, a thing that we need to know also and practice is how to encourage ourselves.
That's very
Because
true.
sometimes there's going to be no one,
No
literally
one.
no one. But God is always there, and you can always go to the Word, and you can pray, and you can find some sort of scripture with God speaking to you, and, you know, you being able to encourage yourself.
Yeah, and another thing I would say is write down any sort of dream or vision that you have, write it down and put a date next to it. So if you say, you know what, on today, the 6th of April, 2019, I aspire to start a car wash. And, you know, work towards that, you know, allocate a time frame to it. Say, you know, I'm going to give myself 6 months to accomplish this goal. I'm going to give myself 3 months to get my first 10 bottles of squeezy, or my first 2 tanks to hold water, whatever the case may be. It could be small, it could be large, but then eventually over time, when you document things, in those bad times, when you look back, you'll see, oh wow, 10 years ago I made this declaration to do this, and look, 5 years later I'm not exactly there, but watch all this progress I would have made. And that can be very encouraging in a downtime. So that is also important.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a question too. Like, I've heard something about usually when people have a certain type of. Sometimes I've heard that when, like, you have a certain type of imagination, in your imagination you have like a breakthrough. You see an idea or something you want to invest in, and then it's like a certain window of time you have there. Like, if you make that window of time expire in some way, that's when all the doubts, that's when all the fears and so on come into it. So when you were planning your business, how long did it make you, like, how long it took you to really get the confidence or the enthusiasm to really say, okay, I'm gonna step forward with this endeavor?
Well, for me, I'm very passionate, as I say. So if I get some sort of idea, I bounce on it immediately. Like, even like with starting the group that I started, like I woke up one morning and I had this idea that we needed a community, and like immediately I went and I met with the guys and tell them, yo, this is what we're gonna do, and that's how it started. So that's always me. That's very proactive. But I do understand what you were making reference to. Sometimes, you know, you have ideas or you have some sort of vision and you sleep on it. And then eventually what happens, like, you know, the Bible talks about if you have a gift and you're not using it, how we give it to someone else. So you might see somebody arise with the exact same vision that you had in your mind for the past 2 years sleeping on. So sometimes it's not good to wait. Like, try your best to get things going. Like, let me give you an example. For me, like, I was doing a show in last year, December. That was the initial date. and it was myself and Nature Kid. We put it on a True Love concert, and we could find nobody to do the lighting. Absolutely nobody. Like most of the big brands like Wooden Foot and Ingram and all these major brand of lighting, they all were booked out. And well, I had a few lighting fixtures home, but not enough to do a concert. And I told Nature, what, we can't find nobody, but if push comes to shove, I'll just take a risk and just empty my bank account and buy all the light fixtures and we light the show ourselves. And push did come to shove. We could find absolutely nobody. And like for me, I always wanted to get in lighting, but it was just like, oh man, maybe next month or maybe focusing on ladder. But that pushed me so much, and I went online on Amazon and eBay and I bought all the things I thought I would need. So I bought a bunch of clamps, a bunch of wires, a bunch of expensive lighting fixtures, and like I screenshot my account at the end of those transactions. It was like $3. Like I took it back. Like it was crazy. It was a crazy risk, and I do believe in saving and having money in case of. But at that point, I couldn't save, and I took that big risk. And it was so crazy. Like even before the show, the nights leading up to the show, like I was just like having little snaps on my WhatsApp of my lighting setup and whatnot. And like someone respond to my status, someone who works with a big wedding planning company, and they say, "What, I wanna hire you. You have lights?" I'm like, "Yeah." And like, "Okay, I wanna hire you for the 31st of December to do a wedding for me." I said, "Okay, cool."
Amen.
And then I went to the venue to set up at the time, and I kid you not, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I had the clamps. I did shows before where it was like tours, and I had four cheap Chinese man lights that I always set up my shows with, and I had them like on a bar, and that was it. But this time now, stage shows involves you hanging the fixtures on those aluminum stage covers and whatnot, and I have never did that before. So I came with all my big white buckets. I kid you not, I bought them at the Chinese shop, so it looked like a professional. And I put all my lighting fixtures out on the stage, and I pull up, and then this big DJ came to me, like this big DJ and sound guy. He was like, "Yo, you do lighting? I want to hire you to do a show 31st of December." And it was just so weird to me that I haven't even named this lighting company yet.
Right.
I haven't even done any gigs before. And I already have 2 bookings on the same day.
Man, that's
And it was
how
just
God
so
works.
weird and so
Yeah.
crazy. So that's just the importance of stepping out when you see an opportunity to just seize it one time.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yes, sir.
Ecclesiastes would say, "Cast your bread out on the waters." A lot of times you're afraid to cast that bread out on the waters, but if you don't throw out anything, if you don't invest in anything, nothing is going to come back to you.
That's very true.
Amen. Okay, so we just want to thank Zia very much for coming.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of food for thought today. Anybody agrees with me? Yeah. And I mean, it's so good because sometimes you watch TV and you see these persons overseas in Hollywood, they're their own business people. But when you see it happening right here, a young man just like us, he's making it happen.
Yep.
I mean, it really says a lot, and it gives us a lot to think about. I mean, you have shared practical examples of where you've had faith, where you've just, you throw it all in. You don't even know what's going to happen, what's the result, but you took that leap of faith, and you have inspired me a lot this afternoon. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, and I pray for God's richest blessings on you and that your studio will continue to grow from strength to strength. All right, so this has been our second session of this podcast on handling your finances. We want to thank all our listeners for tuning in. And on this note, we will close by saying,
This is Youth Session signing out.
Here we
man, brother, look, can I be honest? I promise that I'll be what I ought to be and be modest. Prophets say their prophets only profit in their pockets, saying God told me this, but I doubt they know who God is. Zero to 100 real quick, problem started. Cause all I'm seeing is your pride and your problem solving. Like, what's the point of helping others if you ask for something? 0 to 100 real quick, boy, all or nothing.
Grind, work, you been doing this all your life. Keeping it 100 is taking all of your time. Go hard, go home, the struggle is picture perfect. It's telling you that you worth it, it's telling you that you're working, you want beast mode. So keep racing all your rivals, all these vipers and Godzillas, conquer jungle and gorillas. Life is like a quarter, so keep racing to the finish. 0 to 100, escalated rather quickly.
0 to 100 real quick, don't miss a shift. No Suzuki in this race, not for the swift. Straight and narrow, but her curves good and make you drift. Got a sex drive, Holy Ghost be your brakes. Oops, your crush got close to the brakes. But wait, you can be redeemed by His grace. Put your left on heaven's scale, way the way up. I pray on Judgment Day, I go way up.
Yeah, little by little we started a crawling and walking and making our way to the top. Stopping at nothing, we stepping, jumping, hurdles over and stumbling blocks. Man, look at that shot. They be throwing the punches, look at me throwing it back. Facing the fight, fisting his face, feeling fat, just because no God's got my back. Yeah, little by little we started a crawling and walking and making our way to the top. Stopping at nothing, we stepping, jumping, hurdles over and stumbling blocks. Man, look at that shot. They be throwing the punches, look at me throwing it back. Facing the fight, fisting his face, feeling fat, just because no God's got my back.
Pardon the king in me, pardon the champion is only winning me. Breathing the breath of life pumped into me. Chest up now, there might be people who would want to stick a pin in me, but that will only make me blow up. Create a scenery, catching my tempo. 0 to 100, my story is just a villain caught and transformed by a hero. Uno memento, I only got 8.